demand is for the bypass? I mean, who's who on what? If we want to call up, because we have.
Well, we have the whole bypass construction plan, that's got a whole organization chart and everything.
I know,
That's outdated.
but it's completely outdated, and then the way they have changed spaces, what's it called, you know? So this is, this is on. So I called to ask, and I got a little bit of an answer, which is interesting. Okay, I would like to call the meeting of the Design Review Commission to order.
This should be good.
This should be quite quick. And would you, do the roll call?
Bob Hamilton,
I'm here.
Keith Rossett,
Here.
Cindy Neely,
Here.
Sean Platt,
Here.
Brett Gansler,
Here.
Mark Reynolds. I think that's it, right?
John.
Joan Eaton.
Okay, given that we are missing the co-chairs, and you all managed to get here before I did, I will be your interim chairman for the, moment. Has everybody looked at the agenda? Are there any additions, subtractions, deletions from the agenda? If not, I could have a motion to pass the agenda, please.
I move that we pass the agenda as submitted.
Second, please. Second. All right, Bob moves and Sean seconds. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, unanimous approved. There are no audience folks, and do we have anybody online that we know
I
of?
don't even know how to find out, so.
Okay,
go with
we
that.
have no idea how to find out, so if we are online, we are apologizing. But then let's move to, do we approve the minutes first? We never approve the minutes first, do we?
Well, we could.
We could. We do have in front of you the minutes from December 11th, and has anybody or everybody read them?
I read them and they looked okay to me.
I'll go with what that's then.
That was the door, right? The storm door.
Yeah, and we tabled the fence and retaining wall at 1434 Marion Street. And I don't see that has come back up again, maybe. So I guess it's still tabled.
Whose application was that? I think that was my question, because it said members discussed the application. The application by whom?
I don't know.
We'll say
Was
in
this-
my Zeke.
No,
Is that what you're looking at?
no,
Not
it's down there on 1434 Marion Street.
From December 11th, no.
Members discussed the application for a new fence and retaining wall at the street, and the site plan was not
The
included.
idea is who lives at 1434
Yeah,
Marion.
who was it?
Okay.
So I would say that we need to, have that information before we can really approve these. Because that's not a correction, that's an omission, and so we would need to see them. In order to do that, so I am going to say that we need to see these back at the next meeting.
Or could we include it pending the addition of the applicant's name? There's no action taken other than to table it.
Yes, but you see, we have run out of time in our tabling kind of thing.
Well, that's what question I got is how long can we have something lying on the table?
We can't, so what we essentially would need to do, is I think we have all of 45 days, which we have exceeded at this,
So they need to reply.
no, then.
Alright, how do I get her unmuted? Okay, no, this,
Good questions.
because this is our applicant for tonight,
Okay.
so we gotta get her on here.
Is Vicky on there?
Yeah.
Okay, we have to discuss the Marion Street one. We cannot pass these minutes, but. If you put in an application and we do not, we can only table it once, and this would with. It's
So
over,
then it's not approved.
no, but it means the applicant can go ahead without approval. He can proceed.
Doesn't make any sense.
No, the fault is ours because we have not done an action. You can't
The
leave.
fault was theirs because there was no information provided so that we couldn't review it.
Ooh, okay. I think we got a promoter probably.
Now it's time to talk.
Nice.
Okay. Okay,
All right.
right here?
Yeah.
Do you want me to allow her to talk right now, or?
Yes, you can talk anytime if you want. Perfect. Um,
Alright.
at this point, on this agenda, I think
How about
that,
Sue Nos, Knaus?
Doesn't sound familiar.
That's who's
What's
listed
that?
on the application from before.
Oh.
oh, Sue House.
Now, it's okay.
Okay, it is on Sue House. Okay. Then we need to add the name Sue House, Knaus. For House at 1435 Main Street, and so then we can amend this to add that, and so we can pass it with the amendment. Please make the note that somebody has to contact Sue House and ask where we are with this. So
So I move that we accept the minutes from the December 11th meeting. With the addition of the applicant's name, Sue Nouse. Under the bullet item 1434 Marion Street.
Well, second. Okay, there's some motion and a second to approve the minutes of December 11th, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposing? All right, motion passes. That now about the minutes of January 8th. How do you get this far behind the minutes?
Can't vote on this one, I wasn't there.
Are there any additions or corrections?
I didn't see anything.
Ryan goes on to Zoom for this one.
On the January 8th one, the last line. I reported that Excel will be applying for the permission from the Army Corps of Engineers for the project. Their next meeting, it's not the Army Corps' next meeting. There is the hydro team's next meeting.
Can I have this?
Sure.
Because the there refers to the Army Corps of Engineers and
Okay.
we're not meeting with them. Okay, any other amendments, corrections, deletions, whatever? Then I entertain a motion to pass these, please.
I will second.
Well, you know, somebody move it.
I'll move to approve with January 8th minutes. With the addition.
I will second.
Okay, we have a motion in section, all in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
And
Thanks.
one abstention, because the rest not yet. So you can still vote on minutes, leave them.
Well, I read it, they look good.
Okay, well, we have one item action item on the agenda, and that is Vicky Aresti's replacement of half of the roof. Vicky, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah,
Can you
we
hear me?
Yes, but we can't see you.
I know, it's like a big shadow on my screen. It's like the
Oh.
camera is
No,
front, it's
I'm gonna put your video on, so I think. This.
May just be sound.
there.
Okay.
Now, that's
Well,
better.
We'll just have to We,
That's much better.
Go with that.
okay.
I can see Bob Hamilton.
That's a good thing. Vicki, would you describe what you're doing, please? We have a lot of pieces of paper, but I think a short description would be very helpful.
So I'm trying to replace, my house is in the historic district and I'm trying to maintain the, excuse me, the integrity. And I had my insurance company come out and take a look at the roof, and they've agreed to replace half of my roof. And my roof has several layers of old roofing on it, and I have received 2 estimates to get the roof replaced, which was about $25,000. The insurance company said that only half my roof needs to be replaced, and they need something that, you know, I tried to tell them that I'm in the historic district and I need to replace the entire roof. Otherwise, it's going to look unseemly as it has layers of old roofing, you know, and to replace half of it with new roofing would not look right. They told me that it's not, even though I'm in the historic district, they told me that it's not code for them to replace the entire roof. So I'm hoping that the design review. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. What are you hoping design review will do?
I'm just hoping that I can get if there's a code or something that I can provide to the insurance company that says, you know, I feel like I'm kind of in between because the insurance will pay half. The design review committee, as I understand it, would require the entire roof replaced. And so I am coming to you to see if there's anything that the committee can do to help me to get this roof covered like it should be.
Vicki, what is the roof material at the moment?
I'm sorry, what?
What is the roof material at the moment?
I believe it's composite.
Has anybody looked?
Well, the
Yes.
pictures look like it's, the older 3-tab asphalt shingles.
Okay.
And this mentions someplace on one of these pages, 3-tab shingle.
Yeah, and that was a question I had is, are you planning to replace it with the 3-tab? Because we would recommend against
Yeah, we don't like
that, and also, I don't know what the wind rating. But the town code requires 140-mile-an-hour wind rating. And I thought I had seen somewhere there was only 110. We would like to see architectural style shingles go for replacement, mainly because you'll get the wind rating that you need, and you'll also get the 40 to 50-year lifespan.
Okay. Which I don't know anything about roofs. So, I mean, I want to do it right, but I feel like not knowing anything about roofing, I need to meet your requirements, and I'm not sure that I'm getting that from the insurance company. Anyways, I'm asking for your help because
Yeah, I think I get that.
We had something about the 3-tab, what's the book and page on that?
I don't know, did anybody bring a book? I didn't.
Sean book.
Well, the 3-tab you can't really get much anymore.
Yeah, but how do we tell them that you can't pull 3-tab off half the roof and then make it the other half of the roof something else?
I'm accused on this one. But the shingle portion is being replaced, it's the flat portion that's not being replaced.
The whole, what is it? Because it's unclear in all these pages.
Highlighted there is not that.
It's unclear in all these.
This is all shingled. And then this is flat.
So
Actually, this
what's
portion is
on the,
flat
what's,
also.
what's on the flat now?
It's a mold type thing.
It has to be, cause it's
Yeah.
flat. So all of this, all of the thing that is currently, you're saying all the red line, I'm on page 4. All the red line is being replaced,
The number 19,
yeah,
that is not, that's a flat portion.
So the flat areas are staying,
The flat areas, but
and all the shingles have been replaced.
yes, that's the way I understand it.
so, the. This isn't flat,
No,
No.
that's gable.
and this isn't flat,
No, that's gable.
and this isn't
That
flat,
is,
that's flat,
that's actually flat.
the back is actually flat,
Yes,
and what,
and that's flat.
and this is flat?
Yeah,
So we're replacing the essentially the front parts, the gable parts.
correct.
Look at the picture on page 3. It gives you a
Yeah,
thing. So it's the white part is all the flat.
And so they are replacing all the gable. Is that what we understand?
that's what I understand when I looked at it.
Okay, so actually,
And I found the front
Vicky, you would
porch
have-
actually needed to be done also.
what?
I found that the front porch needed to be done. I don't know if it's included with the insurance or not, but
But Vicky, you have 2 different kinds of materials on your roof, and you're likely
Okay.
to still have 2 different kinds of materials on your roof. Because hip roofs can carry a different kind of material than flat roofs can. So the portion of the hip roof that the fact that they're doing all of your hip roof. It can be done without worrying about the flat roof. The only flat roof that would be obviously in need. Would be the one over the front porch. I don't know if I'm making sense to you.
Well-
But when we look at your house, there's a long portion that's hip proof. I'm looking at the pictures that we have of the picture on page 2. Gets it really clear.
North, it says north at the top. Left-hand corner of the picture.
Yes. Well, the one on page 2 is fairly straightforward too. You're doing the 2 gabled portions of the house. And you're not doing the flat roof part of the house.
Okay, so all the shingled part would be replaced, is
Would
what,
be replaced, and they are you reading this, that the insurance company is saying they will replace all of the shingled roof?
that's the way I understood it.
Well, I think we
But I
could
meant
say that if
when I
they're
met with
touching
the-
that shingled roof, they have to replace all of it. We're not playing replace half of that.
but Cindy, when you're reading that, I think Bob said something about it looked like the insurance was covering a wind rating of 110. Does Georgetown require 140 mile wind?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
yes.
And
Yeah,
is there, okay, go ahead.
the question becomes what you are replacing it with. In other words, we're fine with just replacing the big gabled sections. But
Okay.
it needs to be replaced with a, define it.
And is that, I know what they've said before when I talked to the insurance company that it was an opinion. Is that code that for Georgetown requires 140 mile wind rating?
I believe that's the case, that it's on the town website under the building, on the building section.
Okay,
And it gives 140-mile-an-hour wind rating
okay,
and the 60-pound snow load, which I saw that somewhere. I don't see it in the packet, but I think when I looked online, on your application online, I remember seeing 110-mile-an-hour somewhere, but I can't find it in the stuff that's in front of us now. The other
okay,
thing though would be, we
And
don't really want to see the 3-tab shingles anymore.
no,
What do you want to see?
we wanna see a composition,
It's an architectural style shingle with a 40 to 50-year life.
yeah, a 50-year composition shingle.
Is that,
But this is what they use, they're putting an architectural.
That's-
What? Which one are you on? There's so many. You're on page 10. Also on the Winlow, Vicky, when a town adopts a building code, they are allowed to specify certain things that are particularly important in their area. So the fact that a basic building code might say you can do 110-mile-an-hour wind loads, Georgetown, knowing the position that we are in, with the wind that make that a stronger, can make that a more strict regulation. And that's what the town has done in a couple of cases, particularly because we have regular wind things that exceed 110 miles an hour.
Okay.
And so, no, it's gotta be 140 and we have to have solid shingles. And where did we find the shingle? In the products?
you say on page 82, roof materials on new buildings, should be, this is for new. But it's under C,
Look,
book 2, section 6, roofing materials. C1. And I've got, I think we're caught, I can't see through that. Is it 30-year or greater composite shingles?
Yes,
Unit
that's what
colors
it says
are-
now, but we are going to,
That's it, 50.
we're gonna change it to 50.
It hasn't been changed yet.
Gotcha.
It hasn't technically been changed yet, but it has.
But we have been telling people 50-year
50 years.
for the last 5 years.
And what are you guys looking at?
Our own code.
The design guidelines for Georgetown, the DRC design guidelines, book 2, page 82, article 6 on the roofing materials. And it's paragraph C1. And it states 50-year or greater, and we're really pushing the and greater because of the
It says
because of
50
the
years
increased wind
and
loads.
Yeah, and we're pushing 50.
So when I decide to do this, then do I bring everything back to you and you review it to make sure that it's composite and then it's 140-mile wind? I mean, not knowing anything about roofs, how does the process work?
The process works is that we would pass this with the stipulation that of which sections of roof you were doing and what materials you were using.
I
And
believe this is a pre-approved.
what?
Yeah, it's pre-approved. And I can read. Re-roofing is a pre-approved thing. And it's, those guidelines are on the website as well. It's Article 2 under the pre-approved projects list. And re-roofing materials for total re-roofing must be brought to present standards per town code. Replacement in kind with inappropriate materials is not permitted. Any re-roofing which uses 50-year or greater dimensional shingles is appropriate. Any other changes of materials will need to be approved by the DRC, and 3-tab shingles are not permitted. Historic chimneys must not be removed.
Okay, and that's code?
Well, that's in our.
That's in the design guidelines for Georgetown.
Yes, yeah, as far as a pre-approved thing, but what she is after is how she quotes code to an insurance company. And what essentially we're saying is that yes, we would approve doing just the gable sections of but in keeping with our pre-approved codes, in keeping with our design codes, it would have to be the 50-year compositional shingles with a 140-mile-an-hour wind rate.
Yeah,
And
Vicky,
those are the materials you can use.
you got two things, code is building code, and that's a legal thing, that
Okay,
they can't get away from. That's where the 140-mile-an-hour wind comes from.
okay,
That's a building code requirement, it's not a DRC requirement. But the fact that your building is in a National Historic Landmark district. And is it one of the contributing?
Yes, it's a
And it's a contributing structure. You are also subject to the the town of Georgetown
Guidelines.
Design Review Guidelines. Which no longer allow the 3-tab asphalt shingles. What is required is dimensional architectural shingles with a 50-year life.
okay,
And we can actually, that's, if Susan's got that, I think that. That's what we,
That could go in the notes.
yeah, I don't have any things.
I looked up one of them that they have listed here, and it's 130-mile-an-hour rating.
Okay,
I can't find the year.
Maybe we should find that.
I looked it up online,
That.
but I looked up the product that
What
they're.
the product was. But we can put that in writing for you, Vicky, that those two items, that the
Okay.
code says this, and the historic guidelines will only permit that. And then when you know exactly which one it is going to be, you should let us know.
it's pre-approved.
It will be pre-approved, but you need to know which one, what you have chosen.
In case you will verify that when you apply for a permit.
Building permit.
Yeah.
Yes, if we get it all in writing.
Yeah, she always does that.
Yeah, because I have to, when I looked over all of this, okay, we should have some form of motion to that effect.
I move that we advise the applicant that the project is pre-approved. It's one of since it's a re-roofing project, it is, it's a pre-approved list, subject to, complying with the Georgetown Building Code, which requires 140-mile-an-hour wind capacity, and that,
Provide with the guidelines.
the guidelines require that 3-tab shingles are no longer allowed. And we're looking for a 50-year
composition.
dimensional composite shingle.
I believe it's 130, not 140, but. Alright.
No, it's 140, I looked it up. Yeah, just the other day. I know it's 140.
Okay, so we have a motion that we advise the applicant of, in writing, we advise the applicant of that. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, is there any further discussion?
Cindy, did you say you'll be sending me something in writing?
I'm saying that decision should be put in writing, yes, and that we will get that message to town hall. Actually, Susan, you leave all of this stuff for them, or you will let them know?
I'll let them know, sure.
Okay, if you would do that, please. And so that should come probably from the Kezia is usually the assistant administrator is usually our staff person. And that information will come from her.
Okay,
And I hope that helps you out.
yes. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate all of your help.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I. Okay, is there anything else on our agenda? Yes, there were various, things on the, on. To talk about this. One thing we should note is that, yes, the application was filed and it was filed on time for the CLG grant, which I do hope we receive. And we will be notified on April the 6th of whether we have the grant to work on the guidelines. In the meantime, if all of you would seriously take a look at this book 2 and make some notes. Just go through and circle stuff and stuff, just so that we know what. Yes, there's, Mr. Gans is gonna lead this when we get to talk. Because he's been making notes all along.
Yeah.
Good.
And I haven't actually, but that's going to be extremely, it's gonna take us a while to get this going because they're then gonna insist that we also have to sort of put it out to bid, so there's gonna be sort of a process, so. But we'll get to it, we at least will get it going.
Will that be sort of like a process where we all just do it individually when we come together and then share the notes in a session or something?
Yes, well, what she's actually going to do, yeah, when we get somebody hired. Yeah, the first session with the consultant is going to be. They're there with the book, we're here with all of ours, and it's gonna be a mind dump.
I don't know if. I don't know what session it was, some of the sessions at the Saving Places, but one of the things I sat through was. Kind of the history of. Basically guidelines from the federal level, and the fact that they were put together by, 90 ancient white men from Europe. And that's basically was what they thought they wanted, and very little public input. And that was kind of the point that. We've managed to preserve the guidelines from the very beginning through today with very little change. And I recognize that.
That's the Secretary of the Interior standards.
Right.
It's not our guy.
No, I know that,
Okay,
but. Thinking back on some of the pushback we've had from, a few applicants that. Are we planning to do any kind of a town outreach on
yes,
things that people would like to see change so that we kind of broaden the discussion? It's just not us.
yes, we have.
Probably, I think we need to do that.
As a matter of fact, the grant required, what is your public outreach program?
Good.
So I wrote up one, but it includes the fact that there are comment opportunities that will be on our website. And there'll also be a notice through the newsletter that this is what we're doing, and there'll be comment opportunities downstairs and physical comment kinds of things. And when we get to the second meeting, we will make sure that we notice it as a public meeting that we are going through the changes people. Our first meeting with the consultant is a mind up. And the second one is reviewing what they have put together, and that will be a really noticed public meeting, so if anybody
that's
wants to come to it, and then what we've essentially said, ultimately, we're going to send out a notice to every single property owner. Because it also, have you tried to look at these guidelines online? Do you operate with them online?
I've got a PDF of it.
Yes, you got a PDF of it, but if you are an applicant. Try to hit the town website once as an applicant and see, there is just no direction on how to use anything.
Yeah, I just.
Well, that's the town website,
Yes, except that.
It's horrible.
Yes, but we have to fix that part of it because we are constantly directing people to, well, just check out the guidelines on the website. So one of the other things that needs to get fixed along the line is how an applicant operates the guidelines, not only what they say, but how an applicant operates.
This one explains that a little bit.
What?
One explains that a little
Book
bit.
one
Yeah.
explains it a little
Okay.
I
bit.
think we were trying to put a year ago, and unfortunately, I think that might have been they went to the wayside by my own fault, and I can bring it back up, is where we're putting a PDF together for somebody that's coming in that had a list of things and the links that they would need to find all the information that they need,
Well,
so. I can get back on.
Reconstruct that in your head, because that does become part of the update, is not simply
Yeah.
to the guideline themselves, but to.
Well, you have the
how do
whole-
we-
Yeah.
How can we modernize the guidelines?
Yeah,
so that
I've got
They're
a,
easier to use for the
And
public
that's
as well as for us.
Yeah, and that's part of the public outreach.
I mean, we're always flipping through trying to find
Yeah.
something.
and I've got a layout of it, already put
I
together.
think I went to the same session that you were talking.
Oh, it was one of the big
Yeah,
sessions.
they mentioned also the word guideline versus rule or law or. That becomes an issue,
Mhm.
and our guidelines are called guidelines, so that's becomes an issue.
Yeah, well, they are guidelines because our criteria are the law. We do have 7
But
criteria.
people see it as guidelines, not a law. Too, that's an issue, I heard
And then
people
also-
comment in the gallery here, listen, in that way. It's a guideline, it's not a law.
Yeah, and that, so in the sense that needs to be explained, it is a guideline, except that the guidelines, it's like the federal regulations. Feds pass a law, and then some bureaucracy adopts a set of regulations in order to enact that law in practice. And that's exactly what a guideline is. Our law says we have 7 criteria and they are in the law. And these are
This
ways.
is how, people guide on how to meet your
Yeah,
criteria.
this is the set of regulations that go along with it. I mean, and actually, we never call them regulations, but that's their legal standing. Is that they are the enforcement regulations for a set of, for something that's in the law. But
Well,
I
occasionally you
agree,
take
I think
something
there's lots of
that's not-
things to do.
There's
There's lots of
occasionally
things
the-
to do to make this better
Yeah.
and certainly more people friendly and certainly easier to. Cause to my way of thinking, they're also in the wrong order, and if you send the people to the guideline, please find out what character area you're in. And of course, that's the. And on this says, turn the page over for details on how to join the meeting and, well, no, on the application. It tells you can turn the page over and include all the materials on the back of the application. Well, there is no back to the application. And our packets are not. They're full of material that we don't need a lot of the time. And that's, so I think we're really after streamlining the outfit.
I'll go back through, cause I know I had formatted like a list of things for people to go through as they're going through the application process, so I'll bring that up and I'll forward what I have to everybody, and then if anybody wants to give me
Yeah,
some notes.
Cause we,
Cause basically what I was creating was basically from the website, this would be the first thing that you would go to, you would download a PDF. And it would have in the PDF links to all of the different forms and pages and information. And like links to the stuff that you would need. And this way you can just go through it and just go, it would just take you straight there. And I think we had a problem because you were trying to use it and for some reason it wasn't working in Firefox. And I've gotta figure out that would end up being.
the other thing is that we really have to reorganize how people approach their project too, cause if we say go to your character area and somebody actually does, then they read that one little section and they're done. And they don't go to the other sections, so I think we need to reorganize the whole approach, but it's not user friendly at all at the moment. I mean, I don't blame folks
So
for.
I mean, this is what we can give a consultant.
Well, what the consultant's gonna do is work on what our guidelines say, not necessarily some, and.
Yeah, that's just a matter of
propose a
reference.
reorganization, but they're not going to be the one who fixes it to go on the website.
Could they be under this grant, or is it not allowed under?
It's.
Cause that's where the real work is.
Well, real work is also in the guidelines themselves, but. That's not in this grant as far as putting it on the website.
Well, if at the end you just put refer to section 3 building materials, then that takes you to building materials and that should cover the other stuff too. That
Yes,
could be at the end of each section.
yes, we can,
I think
yes,
section
exactly,
3.
we.
But it's just a little reference like that is all it really needs.
Yes, we haven't tied it together
Mhm,
for anybody who's, you know, if you finished here, go here.
mhm,
And if you
exactly.
finished here, go here.
It just needs to refer to I think it's section
Yeah.
3, refer to section 3.
But we also have to do the ADA thing and all of that, so that our format is translatable to the. So, yeah, it's gonna be a fair amount of work, eventually, it's gonna take a while, but. The other thing is that we should very quickly go around, and. The conference, lots of us went, we need to report that. Keith went, and. One thing you remember.
I was the section 106 thing was the thing that I remember the most. And then the other thing that I was in was with the churches and schools, sort of. Developing a process for like a lot of schools and churches that are being closed down across the country, like they're developing sort of programs of how to sort of bring that into the community using the community work to be able to like reallocate the usage of those structures, like especially like the churches and the old schools, without losing the historical integrity of what the building represents. Like, for example, there's an old church downtown in Denver that, and in fact, one of my friends works for the marketing of it, is that it's got converted into a dance club, and it's just called The Church. But they basically were able to just keep most of the historical integrity of the church, but it got converted into a nightclub and stuff like that. But it's like how to save some of these structures and like repurpose them for 21st century usage.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have a couple of those questions in this town, though we have resolved a couple, but we're gonna have them. Bob, what did you go to?
Couple things of note. One is I went to one of the Main Street things and went away with the impression, okay, we have like revitalized Main Street. We have a business promotions commission. And they promote Georgetown as a whole with the idea that, you know, that brings business into town. The problem is we're losing businesses right and left. We don't have an economic development perspective. And my suggestion was, maybe this is something the town needs to look at, because the take I got is that under the Main Street program, economic development is a key part of it. And they will provide resources to work with the town to help, you know, look at, what's your story, what could be done, and then kind of work into like a master plan type of thing. So that is something I think the town should consider, and I did write a brief note to Georgia and to Dennis, and I haven't heard back from either one of them saying that we may want to look at this, and the gentleman who is in that Main Street group at the state level just happens to be the fellow that we interviewed, Matt, can't remember his last name now. We interviewed for Kezia job. I didn't recognize him at first. You were there, right?
No, it
Oh,
wasn't.
you weren't there, okay. Oh, it was Dwayne, that's who it was. But we liked him, and it just didn't work out. But he would love to come and talk to the town.
Yeah, that might be, yes.
And so I will follow up with the mayor and the town administrator to see if this is something they want to pursue. Because, I mean,
Is that a grant or? What is that?
no, it's a state program that you can opt into and get some help. One thing that struck me is that they had like a project manager. That kind of is, for your town or for your organization. Cindy probably knows a whole lot more about it than I do, but it just struck me as. It looked like an avenue that would be available to the town. All we need to do is go talk to them
And they've done a preliminary assessment of this town. It's old, but I still got the record of it. Main Street program has, which would be interesting.
They don't put more requirements on us to do stuff then?
Well, yeah, yeah, it depends on what level you of involvement you want. They have all kinds of different levels of involvement.
I'll have to go back and listen to
Which
that.
is very nice about it, because if you want a full blown whatever, yes, you get. You know,
My
you
whole-
hire a special person and all the rest, but you can do it on an advisory level without.
Yeah, my whole take was, maybe it would help if we had some people from outside take a look at things. And see what they, cause
The last one,
we talk about it a lot, in all kinds of different forums around town, and nothing happens.
the last one I
Other
remember
than stories
recommended a
keep
parking
moving.
garage though. Yeah.
Hmm?
The last one I remember recommended a parking garage over there, but,
Parking garage, yeah,
So-
we weren't enthusiastic.
yeah, I know, I remember that one, that was great.
No, but I do think there is a point to saying,
We don't need a parking
to
garage.
saying,
What would, what are some things that might work? Because I'm sure it's a common problem in all the mountain communities.
well, it's a common problem in the non-resort communities, yes.
And then the other thing, I tended, cause I had personal interest in what kinds of programs are being floated and occurring for developing, training, particularly young people in the preservation trades. And I went to one that kind of had two extremes. A small program up in Montana with maybe 3 or 4 people that got trained in that period of over the summer in different things. And then another program in Chicago that trained several hundred people basically from the ghetto areas in the disadvantaged areas, and they both work. And the thing that came was, it's a very immersive type of thing, like the summer program in Montana, you get half a dozen kids or something, and they're working on a project that's owned by the organization. And they literally hire them, so they get a little bit of pay, but they get to learn skills, they get housing provided, which is probably camping, that's what she said. But I said, oh, that would appeal to people in our area for sure, some of the younger people. And then the Chicago one was much broader scale. And their whole thing is they wrap their whole group of people they provide them support with counseling and help with finances, and just whole lifestyle things. You take somebody off the street that has no hope. You bring them in, you start teaching them how to do things and teach them how that grows into a real job with responsibility and they go through leadership. If they have downtimes because the construction industry is very cyclical, they bring them back in and they help teach others, but they pay them while they're doing that to keep them afloat. I just thought, there's a lot of stuff going on like that. And it was just really enlightening for me, and I thought it was very interesting. I don't explain it well, but
No, yes, you get the point across.
it gives, and I'm
No,
looking at it from here, because I've talked to my grandson, don't go to college. Go learn trade. Matter of fact, learn 5 or 6 of them. Learn as many trades as you can get certified in, and that's what he's gonna do.
It's AI proof for the time being.
Yep, I mean,
well, yeah, and the certain levels of trade are always going to be, because it requires the work of somebody's hands. Not,
Yeah,
their brain has to be attached, but
Yeah.
it requires the work of their hands,
well, there's career paths. I mean, you
Yeah,
can
there
get,
are career paths.
instead of breaking your back every day, once you get some skills, you can move on to, supervision and then, inspections and,
Right,
there's
yeah,
other
well,
avenues
yeah,
that.
there's lots of avenues. There's also, I think, so they made the point over and over again that we don't credit our craftsmen. And at the level that we should. They're not the ones who get, and I have a very personal issue on this one. They're not the ones who get the awards for jobs well done. It's not the guy who
Get it.
who did it. To me, our old school, which was a me project, and everybody looks at me and says, I did not do that. Tim McDonough did that with 8 years of his life and the work of his hands. And it's just,
Yeah,
And he is an incredible craftsman. Just incredible, and that's why periodically some architect in Denver wants to steal him because nobody can figure out how to get the ceiling to be done in a church in Boulder, or nobody can figure out in this because he'll throw down there and he'll look at it and he'll but he look at it, and in this town, come down Tao Street. The Centennial Mill is his, the work on the Episcopal Church is his, the Town Square building after the fire is his, work on the hotel is his, the Mahaney House that burned is his, the old school is his, the old Mo is his. I mean,
is it documented anywhere, or is it?
in HGI's records of how you got involved in buildings, yes. And on top of that, restoring the porch at the Bowman White is his, restoring all the windows at the Hamel House is his, restoring the ceiling that's falling down inside the Hamel House is his. I mean, the record is just staggering. And I,
When's he gonna start training some people?
well, I trained my son, so my son never hires contractors.
That's good.
And my son's not in the business at all, but he wouldn't let anybody else touch his house. But no, some of the craftsmen aren't teachers. They're craftsmen, but they're not teachers. But when you consider things like the school, people give the architects awards and they give the fundraisers awards because they represent the institutional of it, but it's not right. I haven't figured, I've gone to the state twice, as a matter of fact, this is not on the record. I have gone to the state twice to say I would like to propose Silver Plume Home Services for an award. And it's just, I think now with the current push, they may start doing craftsmen's awards, and they should. The Rhonda Mass and her stonework, all over the state, her teams out there are just incredible craftsmen. So anyway, the one I went to and I enjoyed, I met the people who are running the 150, 250 celebrations. And they have not received any message about Georgetown events, and so I think we've managed to bridge that gap. And that was a really fun routine and interesting to me. The 106 discussions are always interesting and it is vital to this town. And so I'm really pleased that lots of you hung around to hear.
That was very interesting.
Yeah, I went to that one as well.
Yeah, the 106 is, I mean, our hydro team at the moment is for any of things we want to gather in. Our whole existence really is based in the fact that the federal government has to talk to us. And that's sort of important. Brent, did you get?
I did not, because all the technical ones were full and I couldn't even join them online, so I had to go back and listen to them like.
Okay, so
So-
you listen at some point, Sean?
But yeah, even if they're full, you couldn't listen to them online, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense, it's like, if you, why can't you listen to them online, why do they have?
Because they want you to listen to the less interesting stuff.
But you will at some point, Sean?
Yeah, there's probably three, that I went to 5 total. There was one that they we're talking about, like downtown where I have all these empty buildings. I found it interesting, they were trying to try to work out a property tax program to motivate the owners to either sell or get them rented. They were talking about maybe give them 2 years at a lower rate. And then if they still aren't or if they're still vacant, then maybe 25% raise the taxes. But it was just
I never knew you could play a property tax game.
That's just
That would be
something.
fascinating.
And then another one, they were talking about energy
Hmm.
and how historic buildings are exempt. Basically for meeting the codes by 2030,
The
they
energy
require them to meet the codes,
Hmm.
so that's changing. And then I also went to the brownfield funding.
Oh,
Because I was interested for the museum back here. Anything that's contaminated, there's funding for. But it has to be owned by the town or a.
Or a nonprofit.
so where are you interested in for?
The museum that has
Lead paint.
red,
Oh,
the paint,
yeah.
cause that would qualify,
Would it?
it would.
On the
The only-
brownfield?
The only thing that they don't cover is mold,
Huh.
they cover any other
Even lead
contaminant,
paint?
Any other contaminant?
that's what they basically.
But it has to be
said.
public owned.
It has to be public owned.
Hmm.
Or if he was gonna convert it back to a museum, then they may be interested because it's gonna go back into the community for community use.
Huh, interesting.
There was one person there that, I think it was in Trinidad. It was a gymnasium. They actually created a nonprofit, bought the building from the school, got it restored, and right now they're in the process of selling it back to the school.
Ah,
So that's
The way around it.
a way around it.
excellent. Oh, so you've made the notes that we have reported on ourselves? Good, good. They will ask, of course, that we report which sessions we've been to, so don't lose track. Because the scholarship just is so balanced. That's cool though. Okay, I think we've finished. Does anybody else have anything else?
The only other thing that I did look at, I went and talked to the University of Colorado, Denver, and it's probably not gonna happen this upcoming year, but once I get my little baby set and situated, I started talking to them about potentially getting a master's in architectural preservation in the Denver.
At UCD?
Yeah,
With Steve Turner.
Steve Hearn?
Yeah, he runs that program, I think.
Yeah, so yeah, I
So
talked to
let me
them
know
about
if that's
potentially
something
doing that.
you really wanna do, because, yeah, we would, support that. In some way, such.
What's the field, architecturally?
Architectural, master's in architectural preservation. It's focused specifically on preservation.
Yeah.
And luckily, it's right down here in Denver, which is, I don't think it's really Boulder.
Okay, if there's nothing further.
What about the National Register District? That,
Oh, what I learned is that the feds. When they reviewed the state passed our National Register districts. And they took it to the National Park Service, and they are in a discussion about how we defined its boundaries. So we may have to redefine its boundaries. They were not opposed at all to the concept. The concept was fine, but they were not, they were not clear.
because it's actually just a bunch of individual.
It's individual buildings.
buildings.
It's individual buildings, but they had to create a boundary around it to create, and that's the discussion in both towns, incidentally. The discussion was the same, what is the premise on which you have these boundaries? And so, Damien was saying to me that we were what?
They're all inside an existing national.
Yeah, they're all-
Yes, exactly, but what they had done is draw a box around then an area that's inside the area, so I understand
just
what
draw
the
it there?
discussion was. And Damien had said sometime in March and April, we will get back to the sitting down at the table and getting that straight, so they are not officially accepted. But the basic conversation was good. Which is okay. And in the Excel update, we're going to be having another meeting fairly shortly on the second memorandum of agreement that would deal with the larger issue of the powerhouse and the Rutherford Trail. As far as what their future may be. The first memorandum of agreement is complete, and they will start work on a structural assessment on that building in the next couple of months, which will be good, because whoever gets it is gonna wanna know how to use that. And on the other stuff that's on here, I don't know anything about.
What's the thing with Centennial Mill, what's that?
I don't know what the thing is, Centennial Mill is.
I think that's probably the roofing.
What?
There's areas that there is no roofing anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There's no what?
And today, there's there's a piece of siding in the wind and a piece missing.
Oh, okay, so if we need,
Minor stabilization.
Well,
yeah, it's called demolition by neglect.
I tried to talk to Nancy a little bit at the conference about it.
It's probably,
She said she'd talk to me later about it, but it hasn't happened.
Yeah.
no, I think that we're gonna bring it to their attention that this has come up
We'll go
with the DRC and,
I think I'm the
we
one.
would really hate to cite for demolition by neglect, but we had to cite the state historical society, and they redid the front porch of that wonderful house up there. So we will cite whoever we need to. But that brings us to the question, everybody look around, it's time for us to do an annual look around on demolition by neglect. So please walk around town and make your notes,
Okay.
and we will put that on another agenda. So Susan, wanna indicate that we want to put the demolition.
I'll make it part of, like, I'm going around taking pictures and putting them on social media already, so I'll make that my rounds.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Okay, it's not historic streetlights, but we have a couple of streetlights that still have problems, you know that.
Yeah, but that's, I've done, but I've turned all that over to the town. They
Okay.
were all fixed, they broke them.
Couple-
Really?
One, yeah, I know one of them came down and it was one of the ones that had been replaced. It's down,
One of the ones on 15th Street, down below 15th Street, it's down.
yeah, down toward between the
Yeah.
Rotary and the. Yeah, that's been down for a while.
And is the town supposed to do something with it?
Well, be happy to help, but
Yes,
I'm not gonna volunteer, I got enough to do.
I've noticed, I have to say. Okay, nothing further? A motion to adjourn?
I second.
Okay. Well done.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
It send it to me in something I can read.
Do you need it in PDF? I can do that.
No, I need it, did you send it as the next,
So,
as next session? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. I can-
yeah, I sent it to you from my phone a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll turn this into a page two. This is like a roadmap to the contaminated buildings and
Oh, nice.
that he gave.
Well,
I went up to them after the meeting for a little while.
I picked up the streetscapes.
It's just
I'll
public.
bring that, give that page or two, or put that in.
That's probably works with between 30 and 30 days. Well, you see what happened to.
I've just reformatted your things.
Really, that'd be so much money, and that's gonna be your one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this much is going to.
Yeah, cause I have that little summary.
The continuous installation is what's gonna be.
Where you can,
Yeah, I thought that was great, Ted.
you calculate every.
Yeah, well, because I had to sort of have your head around a certain place.
But still,
Yeah.
still, that
chaotic.
basically mean everything is considered.
For most chaos about what happened, part of that's my lack of sleep, but part of it's also my lack of preparation of not here.
Well,
Which, if we
That is
had
it.
a meeting with Excel, that discuss things that are premature for us to be discussing. And I think I should get that.
That's it.
Oh,
We have, I'm not, we have.
60%.
well, I wrote for it, said, by March,
Yeah.
but it sets meeting that
Still, that's.